Today is the Greater Manchester Daily Mile Celebration Day, and across Greater Manchester 41,000 children will engage in the Daily Mile today.
I asked the PE teacher, Marion, are the children not fit? And she said, Elaine, most of them are exhausted by the warm-up in PE. They had stamina, more resilience, they were better behaved, they were telling me, their teacher was telling me, and nobody wanted it to stop. So, okay, keep it going, that's fine.
Ideas that grow up from one school, one community, which are really grassroots driven, which work and which really make a difference. This is a demonstration of how you can take something like that, and then because people can see it makes a difference, they'll get on and they'll adopt it and it will grow. Hopefully you're all aware, in the summer, in July, we launched GM Moving. It was a great day. It was a coming together of quite a long journey that Greater Manchester's been on over recent years to really position physical activity strategically at the heart of decision making and policy in Greater Manchester. It is critically about addressing the inactive issues that we have, which we'll go on to this morning, and it is about addressing the big inequalities that we have across Greater Manchester in physical activity behaviour.
And what was really inspiring about what Elaine was saying is things that are very much bottom up will be the things that people connect to. We all talk very strongly, very glowingly about asset-based approaches and things like that at the moment without perhaps truly understanding what they mean. Now, our role in the partnership and wider is to actually influence those wider determinants. So it's more than the taking charge strategy, it's working with the GM strategy, with Greater Manchester Combined Authorities, working with the Mayor. What can we do to influence some of those agendas?
We've been looking at demographic data, we've been looking at health data, we've been looking at anything that we could get our hands on to help us try and understand physical activity behaviour. And more than that, actually, try and understand people's health, particularly where it relates to physical inactivity. And as I said earlier, we're focusing on that adult population because our data at a Greater Manchester level for children and young people is not that great at the moment. It isn't anywhere in the country. It's a national issue.
We are as excited about evaluation as Scott is about data, so be warned. So we're here really to introduce you to a new way of thinking about evaluation. And although we agree that asking what works is important, we're going to ask you whether it's enough. And does it really constitute learning, particularly when you're working across a complex system?
Evidence reviews like this don't do, and aren't able to do, is to look at the sort of challenge we have, which is how can we get a whole population moving, how can we get a whole systems-wide change. One of the significant challenges if we're doing this type of quantitative evaluation, well actually probably whatever evaluation you do, is engaging people and keeping them with you till the end. Because if we're to learn about why people are dropping out and why people don't like our programmes or don't like to be active across Greater Manchester, we've got to hear from people who we're not reaching. We've got to reach the unreachable almost.
When a person goes into therapy, the question the therapist asks themselves is WIGO. So it's very nice we've had WIGO already. What's going on? Until we know what's going on, there's no point asking what works. What's going on is about understanding what's going on in a system in which we are all equal actors. So it's for explaining. And explaining to ourselves as much as to another person. If we know what we're trying to do in Greater Manchester, if we all know, then we'll get it done. And that's what Greater Manchester Moving is about.
The ultimate purpose is about mobilising a community of cross-sector leaders, so from all public services and voluntary sector across Greater Manchester.
There's been a lot of good work done across the city, but putting people in the same room like today and actually getting people to work together is the key to this.
My mind's abuzz from today. I think there's a lot of opportunities, and I'm going to be feeding back to my colleagues at Transport for Greater Manchester to see if there's other projects and programmes we can get involved in.
I'll be taking back how exciting it all is, and that Greater Manchester has an opportunity to really lead in physical activity, and we've got a crucial role to play in that.
My Greater Manchester Moving pledge for today is to establish some criteria around where we set our conferences and workshops and consider active travel first and foremost in terms of how we get people to these events and how we can really practice what we preach, and to do a daily mile at every single workshop that we convene.